My name is Lynn and I'm coming to you from Cardiff in Wales in the UK, and this is a knitting, spinning, sometimes crochet, sometimes dyeing, but always fibre-based fortnightly podcast. It is Saturday the 24th of October on a very wet, grim, dark day here in Wales, in what is the first day of our fire break or our circuit breaker lockdown. So Wales has been locked down, a tight lockdown for 17 days, I believe it is. So yes, this is day one and the weather is showing us how sad we are. But there we are. It has to be done. We have to kind of break the back of this virus, so we'll do what we can. So yes, this is a fibre-based podcast, as I've just said. You can find me as Calon Yarns on Instagram or on Facebook or on all the social media places. You can find me around and about there. And if you are a new viewer, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you are a regular or a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. It is good to have you all here to see what I've been up to. I don't know what's gone on this week, to be honest. Yeah, a little bit of cast on itis, a little bit of got to knit all the things, got to dye all the things, got to spin all the things. I just seem to be in a project bag nest most of the time, and then I have to do this thing called work, which is, you know, it just gets in the way of all the good stuff. So yeah, I do find that I think I'm nesting. I'm nesting for the autumn, nesting away from the coronavirus, nesting away from work, whatever it is. I seem to be surrounded by fibre at the moment, but that's okay. I'm sure you're all the same. I'm sure you'll forgive me. But yeah, I think there's quite a lot to get into this episode, really, this week, this fortnight. So how have you all been? Well, I hope keeping busy, keeping active and keeping safe, I would hope. Tricky times for us all, still not being able to get out the other side of the pandemic for us at the moment, in this part of the world anyway. But let's not dwell on that. This is something to get away from all that, real life. So hopefully you've got a cuppa, you've got your project bag, you're ticking away on your project, and I can keep you company for half an hour or so. So what have I been up to? No finished objects this week, but I am wearing my Chauncey sweater by Isabel Kramer, and this was something I made this year, I think, a while ago, but not that long ago. You know how specific that is? Yeah, whatever. You know how it is. It's made, it's done, I love it, and we have had some really crisp days here in Wales, so it's been lovely to wear this out and about. Yeah, so nothing finished, plenty of things on the needles, plenty of things planned, so we'll dive right in, really. So what I showed you at the beginning is my Genser, or the East sweater, which lives in my Hide and Hammer bag, the 03 bag, and I have to say, I have some lovely knitting bags, but this is definitely one of my favourites. It kind of can take small projects, big projects, you sort of just roll down the top, and it's got a nice little handle and a nice little belt buckle that kind of goes over the top to keep everything safe. So yeah, I get loads in here. This is a really lovely sturdy bag. But this isn't about the bag. This is about the sweater. So yes, this is the East sweater by Marta Nielsen, and I love it. It is such a lovely shape. Let me just get it sorted for you, even though you've seen it at the beginning. So yes, this glorious sort of, it's not really, is it a mossy green? I think it's coming up slightly lighter in the camera than in real life, but I'm not a green person generally, but I have to say I was drawn to this colour and I'm really liking it. I haven't got that long to go now on the body. It's done on 5mm needles, so it's quite a swift knit, I have to say. And yeah, I think it's supposed to be another maybe 4 or 5 centimetres before you start the ribbing, and then obviously back over for the sleeves. But I really, it's kind of knitting up really quickly, as you can imagine, on 5mm. The yarn is, it's a Raumer yarn, and it's the Vams PT3. So that is the It's because it's so dark everywhere else. The camera's going, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're showing me. I don't know what I should be seeing. If I go all the way in and pull it out, there we go. So yeah, Vam's PT3 Rauma, and it is 100% Norwegian wool. And it's not scratchy. No, it's not scratchy at all, but it does feel quite stiff in the ball. But as I am working it up, it's already becoming softer. And I think once it's been blocked as well, it will really soften up a lot. And it is a glorious, thick fabric. So that's my hand pushed through. You can see that is going to keep me toasty warm. So yeah, can't wait to kind of get onto the sleeves and get this one done. What I love about it is a raglan shoulder, obviously, as you can see, it's knitted in the round, but this detail on the sleeves. Now, ordinarily, in a raglan sleeve, you sort of get to one stitch before the marker, make one, then do the stitch, then pass the marker, then do a stitch, and then make one again. But this one is slightly different. Obviously, I'm not going to give it away because it's a paid for pattern, but it comes up with a lovely sort of chain effect around the sleeve, and it gives it a nice structure. So that's very lovely as well. What else? Yeah, it's the yarn that I'm using it was quite reasonable. I think it was around £3 or £4 a ball. So I'm not sure how many it's going to take because it was a yarn substitute. But yes, like this one very much, would recommend if you're looking for a quite thick, cozy jumper that will probably end up being, you know, an outer wear rather than an under the coat wear. I'd hate wearing coats. I say this every year. I'm not a coat person. I prefer to have a big thick jumper and a scarf. So yeah, this is going to be perfect for that, I think. The pattern is really clear, really well laid out, and very quick. It's a 5mm needle recommended in the pattern, so I got gauge with that 5. So yeah, hopefully the next time I see you, I will be wearing this, and I'm sure I will be very, very warm indeed. So that's the main project I have been working on. The other one, just to catch up from last podcast, is my Soul Sisters socks. Yeah, you've got to be careful with that one. Make sure that the teeth are in. And this is, I'm just doing this out of a ball of hand dyed I had that was sort of a tweed yarn, and then I twisted the skein in the pot and put some blues in it, so it's got a nice sort of variegated pattern. But the pattern in the sock has this lovely lacy panel just up the front. It's similar to Feather and Fan, but it's not quite Feather and Fan. And as I said last week, this is sort of my version of the pattern anyway, because I was doing one row wrong all the time. But it's okay, it looks fine. So it's my own adaptation. And it's a toe up pattern. And I have always been a cuff down kind of gal. Cuff down, mostly vanilla socks with an afterthought heel. But this is a toe up pattern, and I've done toe up patterns previously and never sort of got on with them really. I was like, well, it's just much easier to do it cuff down, so I never stuck with it. But oh my goodness, I think I might be converted. Just turned the heel, just coming up to do the cuff up this way. And because the heel is a short row heel, you haven't got that faff of picking up the stitches if you're doing the afterthought and snipping them and reattaching the yarn. So yeah, it is quite a speedy alternative actually. And I think, you know what we're like, we kind of go, no, I always do it that way, so I'm going to stick to that way. But this has just shown me that it's important to kind of go back and do stuff that you maybe found difficult a while ago. But it's surprising how much you learn, how much the yarn and the needle start to work more fluidly in your hands, especially if you're a beginner knitter. So to return to techniques that maybe you didn't get on with the first time is always worth having a go and going back over things, because yeah, I'm really liking the toe up. So I probably will stick to that for a while, and then you know what it's like, you'll go back then to the cuff down and you go, oh no, this is the thing I love the best. But yeah, don't be scared. Don't be scared to go back to things that you previously haven't enjoyed doing. It's worth a little go. So yes, I shall be looking for some more toe up patterns, I think. And what I like about this is the fact that it's just pattern on one side, so you'd still get the Speedy Gonzales along the back, really. I think when the whole cuff is patterned, it takes too much concentration for me and I kind of get lost. But when it's just one little panel, I can about cope with it. So yeah, if you're looking for that, if you're looking for a sock pattern that has just enough interest to move you away from vanilla socks, but not so much that it means that you can't watch the telly or read or whatever other wonderful things you can do, then this is a really lovely pattern for that. So hopefully as well, who knows, they might both get finished by next time. The problem is all the other things that I have been casting on, looking at, wanting to do, I think is actually going to stop me from finishing these. But maybe now I've said it out loud, I will convince myself that I've just got to get on with the socks and get those finished. So yes, hopefully, fingers crossed, there'll be 2 finished objects in next week's podcast, or next fortnight's podcast. So now we're on to new additions. What additions have I added to the yarn project nest? Well, the first one is we were supposed to be heading down to Cornwall with Tracy, with some friends, this weekend or last weekend? Last weekend. But of course, because of lockdown, we weren't able to go, so we said, I know, why don't we cheer ourselves up with a Cornwall cast on that never was really, a cancelled Cornwall cast on, you could say. So I chose this little project, which is in my Plustra bag, my Plustra project bag, and it is the Cottage Garden Hat by Kate Davis. And the pattern is in this beautiful book of hats by Kate Davis. There are some wonderful, wonderful patterns in there. And confession time, those of you that have been with me for a while may remember, why would you? I hope you don't. I should never have brought it up. I have a half-baked project somewhere that I started from here, and I need to dig that out really. It was only as I was, well, Carol had the pattern, she'd done one of these, and we were like, oh, send me the link, let me see. So she sent me the link through, and I was like, oh yeah, I got that one. So, you know what it's like, they're all patterns are tucked away. So I realised that I've already got one of these patterns in a bag somewhere that I need to kind of return to. Maybe this will get my hat mojo back. So if I show you the picture, there it is. Isn't it nice? I can't quite see what you can see. So again, it's very similar to the pattern on the bottom of my Ironworks tee, as Welsh Tenor pointed out. Thank you very much for that. I should have just done it in the same colour as my jumper, and then I would have had a whole matchy set, but I might do that anyway, who knows. But yes, so I chose very similar colours from Stash. So this is how far I have got so far. So a cream and a red. The cream, actually, this cream is cream or whitey white. It's not quite cream and it's not quite grey. It's a very natural colour. Is the same that is in the yolk of this. So yes, using up the last bits of this, and it is the white is Lamel Yarn by Ravelry, which is, I think it's a light fingering, I would say. It's not quite a 4-ply, I don't think. So the match of yarn weights is slightly off. Excuse the odd light, it's because they're so dark out there. And then the red colour is, let me just see if I have the tag. Yeah. So this is some leftover from another cardigan that I did. I think it was the flea cardigan. So it's coming up a bit orangey there, but it's a real deep sort of claret red. And this is a Hillersvåg Solia. and this is just a little bit thicker than the white, only marginally, so I think for a hat it'll be all right. It's not too bad. Now, as it's working through, I think it'll be fine. It's no big deal. I mean, the great thing is that it's using up bits and bobs of stash, so yeah, as long as they look fine together, which I think they do, and I have got plenty. I've got a whole other ball of the enamel yarn, so no yarn chicken for me, although we know how that goes. With my last Ironworks tea sweater, I just can't gauge how much yarn I'm going to need, how much I'm going through. So yeah, pretty much I'd say a third of the way through that hat. That's quite a good match there actually, isn't it? It's not too... I say, oh, matchy matchy. Well, here we go. That is pretty much matchy matchy. Oh well, I'll have a whole new outfit. How exciting. Oh no, I've just remembered there's another project I put together. I'll go and get that in a second. Anyway, gosh, you might be here for about 2 hours, you guys. Anyway, so yes, making some headway on that. I was awake really early this morning, just lying there thinking, I could just get up and knit. I could just get up and knit. I know it's dark, but so I did that for about 2 hours, and then I got up and knitted. So I did quite a bit of that this morning. So with that in mind, I'll just pop and get the other project bag. Whew, I'm back. So, the other project. So Stephen West. So I've never really, his projects are very colourful, very vibrant, very different. And so I've never really been drawn to them. But I have some odd bits and bobs in my stash. So I was thinking, oh, how am I going to use those? They're never going to be an entire project. They're a sort of odd shades for me, don't really match what I've got in the wardrobe at the moment. So I got out a few bits and pieces and I had a look through Stephen West stuff, and I thought, okay, the inspiration station, I'll put a little picture here, might be the thing I'm looking for. Not only is it lots of different colours, but it also works through lots of different techniques as you go through the shawl. So if you are a beginner knitter, or if you, like me, sometimes just want to do a bit more than the stocking stitch and going round and round, or you've got enough of that on the needles, you want something that might just give you bits and bobs of interest, then his patterns are great for that really. And this one in particular I think works through different techniques, as I say, as it goes through the shawl. So I had a little dig around and I've put a few bits and bobs of colours together. So this is one of my first sort of hand spun. This is a John Arbon. I think it is, I can't remember the name of it now. It's not Yarnadelic. Well, it might be Yarnadelic. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. So yeah, this was a John Arbon Textiles that I spun up. So it's some lovely reds and blacks, and I was thinking of turning it into a hat, but I quite like colourwork hats, so I would want to pair it with something. It's beautifully soft. And then digging around in, and I still have my mum's stash of bits and bobs. She passed away a few years ago, and yeah, so I've got all her bits and bobs of stash, and a lot of her stash is acrylics or acrylic based. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but to match up with some of the woolly stuff I've got. So this is what I found in her stash is, not having much luck, is a Louisa Harding. And just this one ball. I have no idea what she was going to use it for, but it's sort of got these oranges and these browns in there, and it kind of goes a little bit khaki green in there. And isn't it sad? You go, oh, I don't know when she bought this, I don't know what she was going to do with it, but there we are. I think I've got the project that I can work it into. So there's that, and I've partnered that because there's not enough of that colour, I don't think. So I've partnered that up with this plain orange, which I think is a West Yorkshire Spinners sock yarn. So that'll kind of, what's it called, bulk out this orangey one. And I'll probably do like helical knitting when I'm using this colour. And then I've got another, I think this might be a West Yorkshire Spinners as well. Goodness knows where these have all come from, which is in a like a moss green colour. So that I thought might go quite nicely. Be a little bit vibrant, but a little bit in the same tones. And then I've got this, again, no idea where this is from, but this sort of browns is another sock yarn as well. So left over. So I think I've got enough. Who knows? But with this sort of balance of colours, quite autumnal I thought. Oops. Quite like the deep reds with the oranges and the greens and the browns. So yeah, I thought that might be an interesting combo for the Inspiration Station by Stephen West. Because obviously I've got loads of time and I can just, you know, it won't take me long. Ugh. And then that shawl will then go with the tones of my Genser, my East sweater. So that's the thing, you see, isn't it? If you do a jumper, you've got to make sure you've got a shawl to go with it and a hat to go with it. So you never know. Once I've done this, I might have enough to do a matchy hat, and then I've got a matching hat for this. I've got a matching hat for my. Oh, I mean, seriously. They do say if you want to get ahead, get a hat. So there we go. This time next year, millionaire, definitely. Okay, so that was the other guilty project that's not quite cast on yet, so I need to ball up that skein of hand dyed too. So that's all my sort of confessional projects. Not overly excessive, exciting, but hopefully not too much. And then thinking to the future. I know we need an ad break or something here, don't we? You know, if you need to pop to the loo, that's fine. Are you back? Okay, that was quick. Anyway, so what else? I've got some undyed yarn that came in the post this week. This is from the Yarn Undyed company, as you can see. And they're a brilliant company based in the UK, and they do lots and lots of different fibres in yarn form, in undyed skeins. Lots of different thicknesses, fibres, etc, etc. So I made a little order, and because my husband wants another yoked sweater, so I made him a yoked sweater last year, which was the Ridari, I think, and he loves that, great, but it is very rustic, so, and he can't quite have it next to his skin, so it's great for an out and about sweater, but not for a cosy in the house sweater. So he asked me if I'd make him another one. So I'm probably going to do a pattern out of the Tin Can Knits book. Is this a delivery? It's not mine, I promise. Don't know. Out of the Tin Can Knits book, and he wants a solid colour similar to this, and then a plain yoked pattern. So I got some DK Blue Face Leicester, and the quality of the yarns that come from Yarn Undyed are absolutely gorgeous, and I've dyed them a few times. So I've got about 10 skeins of the DK weight, so I have some left over, but they come in packs of 5, so what are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? So I'm probably going to dye that up this weekend. I'll keep one plain for the pattern, and I think he wants a navy or a dark blue colour, so I'll dig out my dyes probably tomorrow, excuse the scrunching, and have a little go at dyeing that as a solid colour. Those of you that have been here for a while know that we are having some building work done on the house, or some remodelling, which is a much fancier name. So our kitchen is absolutely decimated. There's walls gone down, and there's cupboards been ripped out, and so the kitchen is in an absolute mess. So it doesn't matter if I make a mess. I need to kind of get everything dyed now, because once we have our new kitchen, which probably won't be until Christmas, I will be dyeing in there then, because it will be sparkling clean. So yes, do it now, I think. And then the other yarn I bought, I'm going to pause there because it's going to be really scrunchy, and I'll just cut this bit out, is a high twist. And it is, oh, let me just get it a bit closer. It's a high twist. Can you see that lovely high twist there? A high twist 4-ply. The reason I've got this is because I have a beautiful skein of a high twist superwash merino 4-ply Fru Valberg skein, which is some beautiful, beautiful colours, and I want to do another Zweig by Caitlin Hunter and use that colourful skein as the yoke, and then just add probably a dark green, a moss type green. See, I'm in my green phase now. So use this for the solid colour. So that's my plan. I've got a bit of a dyeing weekend ahead of me, I think. I say weekend, Sunday, because I'm working now for the rest of Saturday. Yeah, so, and I can make a mess in the kitchen and not feel bad about it. So that will be fun tomorrow, and it's going to be another miserable day, I believe. So yes, a yarn dyeing Sunday for me. What's next? Oh yeah. So the last thing, I promise I will let you go in a second. The last thing I have been doing is a bit of spinning. And I bought a beautiful, massive 400-gram ball of fibre. This is only a bit of it. It's not all I've got left, unfortunately. This is, it's Yarnadelic Buddy Bar, it's called. Look at the colours in there. Aren't they just beautiful? So this is what I have been spinning up. This is the bobbin so far. So yeah, it's creating a lovely yarn there. I'm going for a 2-ply, so this is just a single. I'm going for a 2-ply, and so I think the 2 plies together should probably be about a 4-ply, maybe a sport weight, I'm not sure. I've had some lovely messages from you guys saying, right, that's it now, you can't call yourself a beginner spinner anymore. So, okay, I'm going to progress from there, but I am, what does she call it? I think she's called, is it the gentle spinning, gentle knitter or the gentle spinner? I'll put it here. And she calls herself an intuitive spinner, and I like that because it's, I don't know what I'm doing, but I seem to be getting something that I could use. So that's fine by me. It'll take me a long time to work out what I'm doing and how I can alter it. At the moment, I'm just doing this, and this seems to be working, so I'm not changing anything for the moment. So yeah, an intuitive spinner. That's what I'm going to call myself at the moment, so I don't have to kind of learn all the rules and regs and concepts and ways and all that stuff. So yeah, that has certainly been keeping me busy over the last couple of weeks, and as ever, really enjoying the spinning. So that really is it with projects on the go, and I have no business casting on any of these or starting any of these projects because I have far too much to do and far too much work to do. But I genuinely think that at the moment it's the projects that are keeping me on the straight and narrow, and I'm sure you are all the same. That that little tagline, knitting stops me from unraveling, has never been more appropriate, I think, for us all at this time. So yeah, keeps us together, keeps us moving, and certainly is keeping me on the straight and narrow. So yes, in terms of knitting and fibre content, that is it for this episode. I hope I haven't bored you silly, but I'll put a little link here if you want more yarn content. But if you're staying around for some chatter, then I shall be talking about what I've been up to. So if you are only here for the yarn and the fibre, thank you so much for joining. I hope I will see you again soon. For everybody else, what else has been going on? Well, like I say, we are back down in total lockdown. So only essential shops open, only allowed out to exercise or to get essential goods or for work. So if you can't work from home, the university is still open, and as my course is an on-campus course, the course that I teach, so I am still heading off to work. Not as many days in the week at the moment, but at least 2 or 3 days each week. So yeah, that's for 2 weeks, and we'll see where we are after that, really. So it just seems a little bit odd that the borders are closed, and again, as I was saying last week, so the kids can't come home from uni, we can't go and see them. So it is a weird time, and there's a whole discussion in the UK around whether the universities should get their students to self-isolate for the last 2 weeks of term so they can return home for Christmas, because that's another worrying time, isn't it? Having all these people that have been socialising and mixing and then scattering off into the four corners of the country and beyond, we may find that in the same way that the cases went up when the students came to university, that they might go back into the communities, but we will have to cross that bridge when we get to it. We've been really lucky on our campus, touch wood. Our students have been brilliant and they have been really diligent, and so far we haven't had any cases. A couple of scares with people in houses or sharing houses, but tests have come back negative, thank goodness. So yeah, we are just ticking along doing that really. Like I say, the work on the house is causing chaos, but is slowly happening, but there's delay on trade goods, etc. So yeah, it's taking us longer than we'd hoped, but we did go and quickly try and look for some tiles yesterday and for the kitchen, and the tiles that we found were pretty much yeah, that pattern, the little Orchili type pattern. So I don't know what it is about this kind of blocky flower pattern at the moment, but it is everywhere in my life. So yeah, we think we've chosen our tiles. Exciting times, honestly. You discuss these things and worry about things, don't you? About that half shade here or half shade there, and you think, oh my goodness, just choose. You won't remember what the other shade was in 6 months' time. So yeah, we've been doing that, and other than that, it has been very quiet. So that's good. We are healthy, we are well, and I hope you guys all are too. I've had some lovely messages, as I say, so please drop me a line down below. It'd be lovely to hear from you. And yes, I will see you in a couple of weeks. Keep well, keep safe, keep knitting or crocheting or spinning, keep on the straight and narrow, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Diolch pawb, hwyl fawr.